Hey guys, so I just want to first start by thanking anybody that's watching this video. Thanks for watching. It's my first YouTube video ever because I'm a YouTube watcher, not a content maker or provider. I don't really do YouTube videos, but I had something on my heart and I just needed to say it. I'm in shock right now at the news about Pastor John Gray and his wife and his infidelities and all the things that are coming out about their marriage. I don't really understand what is going on with these pastors and why so many pastors have so many things hidden in the closet. Not all of them. There are some great pastors out here, including the one at Bethany Baptist Church where I attend. Shout out to Reverend Rowan. But when I'm sitting at work or when I'm relaxing at home and I want to hear a pastor that's popular, it seems to be an issue. And I always wonder, maybe it takes a special type of person to be a pastor of a mega church, because I never really liked the whole mega church feel, the mega church vibe. Like, I feel like a lot of pastors try in those larger churches to try to just get you to contribute financially because they want you to believe that eventually you're going to get some sort of financial gain from doing that. I don't think that's the way of God, so I don't really subscribe to that type of thing. I also don't really like to see a lot of people of God spending money frivolously when they could buy things to help people in the community in which they're supposed to be serving. So it doesn't seem really godly to spend large amounts of money on your home or your car or, things of that nature, gold plates and Louis Vuitton luggage and all of those things. If you actually are here to serve the Lord, like, to me, being a pastor is not like a job that you apply for. Like, I applied for my job, and so I can spend the money that I get from my job however I feel. It's definitely supposed to provide you a lifestyle, a comfortable one, because you're doing God's work. But by no means do you need a jet. By no means do you need a $200,000, $400,000 vehicle. By no means do you need $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $6 million house. When you see that there are homeless people out here and that there are people struggling, you could have took $100,000 or $200,000 and purchased apartment buildings and housed people, fed people, made sure that there were no children sleeping on the street at any given time. Like, if you have enough money to do that, some of these mega church pastors could get together and literally change whole communities if they actually pooled money together and made a national initiative. I don't even want to get started. So back to my original thought, because I was leaving work and I saw Demetria Lucas, who literally is my favorite writer on the planet. I saw a post that she posted on Facebook about how John Gray admitted to cheating on his wife, and allegedly she ended up fighting the woman, and allegedly it was a baby supposedly in the mix of this and all of those things. I don't really want to get into all the specific details of it because I don't care. But at the end of the day, it makes me sad because I actually thought John Gray was a different type of megachurch pastor. When I discovered Pastor Gray, it was on YouTube videos. I was at work just looking for something to listen to while I was going throughout the day. I'm an accountant, so I do a lot of things on the computer, and I like to listen to things while I'm doing reports and things of that nature. And I love TD Jakes' videos. I love Sarah Jakes' videos. Just inspirational people that I can listen to that uplift me, that lift up my spirit. But when I heard Pastor Gray talk about relationships, it inspired me so much, and it touched my spirit in a way that most pastors have not been able to. when I listened to them online. So I loved him instantly. Then when I saw his Book of John Gray series on OWN, I was sold. Like, I just believed that this man had a wonderful relationship with his wife, that he uplifted her constantly, put her on a pedestal, treated her wonderfully, treated her like a wife should be treated. He went around telling other people how to portray themselves as wives in order to find the men that God had called for them. Like, I really believed in this man and everything that he was saying, because I felt like he was living the lifestyle that he was saying. And his wife was portraying like he was as well. But from what I understand from the article posted in Demetria's post, this man was on the verge of a divorce for the past 2 years. Now, here I am over here getting ready to get married, taking his counsel to heart as I'm getting ready to step into a marriage that I shouldn't have been getting ready to step into. But honey, that's a whole nother conversation. Like, thank God I dodged that bullet. But at the end of the day, Pastor Gray, you're a good actor. That's all I can say. You and your wife actually know how to act. First, I'd like to speak with Aventer, because Aventer, by no means, please believe me as a woman, do I ever think that it is your fault that your husband conducted himself in the way that he did. I don't think any woman deserves to take the blame or to be faulted for things that her husband does outside of the marriage. I believe that you've probably been a wonderful wife. For this man to get on Sister Circle in November and talk about you the way he did, for him to still be to this day crying tears and apologizing to you for the way that you stuck with him through the marriage, I commend you for that, because it's strength required in that. But at the same time, you have to stop speaking for him. Stop it. Because that is where you look ridiculous in your responses. Your response to Derek Jackson when he spoke about your husband's interview on Sister Circle, your response to Demetria Lucas when she posted about it, your response to all of these YouTubers. Why are you doing this, ma'am? From what I understand, you're supposed to be a pastor as well. So the clapback should not be in you. That's first and foremost. But beyond that, what's for you is for you. What's for you and your husband is for you and your husband. Just because people are critical of the things that he's saying, these are his words that he's saying out of his mouth, that people are going to interpret however they want to. The fact that you feel the need to get on the internet and tell people to leave your husband alone and tell people not to say things to him, it reeks of your insecurity in the marriage. And now I understand why. Because he actually was cheating on you. And if the truth in the article if the facts in the article are true, you had to lay hands and put paws on a woman, or what you felt like you did, because she was getting ready to say that she was having your husband's baby in your marriage, during your marriage. Now, everybody makes mistakes, and no relationship is perfect. But by no means should you be out here counseling people about their marriage and ministering to people about their lives and how to be wives if you can't even be the husband to the wife that you have. That's ridiculous. The fact that this man could possibly have went out and purchased a $200,000 vehicle for his wife simply because he felt guilty that he had done all the things that he had done, and she had to almost beat somebody into the carpet, it's sad. Because I remember distinctly playing a Pastor John Gray video for my ex-fiance, trying to get him to understand where I was coming from, because that's how much this man spoke about relationships and how good he was in the way he spoke about relationships. But Aventer, sweetie, obviously he was not taking his own advice. And the things that he said, I don't understand. But what really, really confused me about that article was your quote about the devil getting someone to speak to the 16-year-old part of your husband. Don't do that. See, this is what women do not need to do. Do not make excuses and excuse away what happened. Your husband is a fully grown man, and yes, he may have issues from youth. We all do. Okay, nobody's childhood was perfect. I don't care if your parents are Michelle and Barack. The fact of the matter is, everyone is human, everyone makes mistakes, and everyone has baggage. But when he slept with another woman, when he carried on a relationship with another woman, and from what I understand, allegedly is more than one. But this particular woman that everyone has receipts on, and that you all are speaking on, I'm so sorry, ma'am. That was the grown man that performed that. That was the grown man that got out there and chose to cheat on you and chose to do the things that he did, knowing that he was making the money, knowing that he was the powerful pastor, knowing that he had you and 2 children at home waiting for him. But he wanted to be a man that was desired. He wanted someone to feed his ego and do other things. I don't really know exactly what's inside this man's mind, but I just cannot believe that you, as the beautiful woman that you are, and the fact that he has 2 children, that it wasn't something about his ego that caused him to go and sleep with other women and flirt with other women and do other things. You cannot, as a pastor, use, oh, it's the flesh. Well, when did the flesh kick in? And what's keeping the flesh from kicking in the future? Nothing but God. And if you didn't have God in your heart when you were out here speaking and preaching to people, if you could preach to people and then go back to your hotel room and flirt with another woman or send another woman pictures or sleep with another woman, then when did God leave? When did God leave your side as a pastor? When do you turn into a regular person? Like that, I don't understand. Because if that's the case, any Tom, Dick, and Harry out here on these streets can get up in the pulpit and preach. I just don't think that that is conducive to being a pastor. When you choose to be a pastor, when you say, I have been called by God to be a pastor, then you need to live like a pastor. You need to conduct yourself like a pastor. You need to be a man of God, period, point blank, end of story. It is not fair to the people that are following you for you to be portraying yourself one way and living a completely different way behind closed doors. And it keeps happening. I remember a documentary about a mega church pastor in California whose whole family had to move to another state because they found out that he was taking meth and sleeping with men. And this was a big advocate against the gay community. Come to find out, he's gay himself and a meth addict. And his wife still stayed with him. I just don't know if it's about the actual marriage when these wives stay with these men, or in the healing that they feel like this person has went through in order to be a good husband after the fact, or whether they just don't want to be embarrassed and alone and have to go through public divorce and public humiliation. And a lot of times it is worth it to stay and to fight for your marriage, because you never know what learning lesson a person can learn and move on from. But at the same time, some of these things that you're accepting, some of these people are not sorry. They're not. They know that you're going to say, I'm a spiritual warrior. I'm going to fight for my family. It says ups and downs in the Bible. It says ups and downs in my vows. And I'm going to fight through it. And some of these men are counting on that. They're counting on you as a woman to be strong and want to fight through it and want to stay through it. And I just don't want a lot of women out here to pick that message up and run with it in their marriages and in their pre-marriages. Like, if I would have married the man that I was engaged to, I would have been miserable for the rest of my life. Hindsight is better than foresight. Looking back over the past 5 years of our relationship, I now realize the things that I looked past. The red flags that I refused to see, the things that my family and my friends were saying, I don't really know. That I was like, well, you know, this too shall pass. We can work through it. I can reach him, this, that, and the other. And I couldn't. And in the end, when it blew up, he showed me exactly who he was. And I don't know if Aventur is going to experience that. I don't know if this man has changed his ways. I don't know if he's a snake in the grass, a devil in disguise, or if he's actually just a man that made a mistake And it's still flesh, even though he's speaking the word of God. I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, I wanted to make this video because I just want to say to whatever woman is watching this video that may have went through what I went through in the past 6 months in the breakup of my engagement, and the pain and the confusion of trying to figure out, oh, am I wife material because I didn't stay, because I refused to deal with some of the things that he was dishing out and some of the ways in which he was trying to get me to do what he wanted me to do, go along with what he chose to do, not question him. You should always be able to ask questions and get answers. Communication is key in any relationship. So the fact that this man was out here preaching about communication and wasn't communicating with his wife and was lying to her face and was cheating behind her back to the point where he slept with a woman without protection and possibly had a baby, allegedly. These are issues. These are real issues, and it makes me sad, you know, that we as women have to constantly wonder. We have to constantly question whether we're being played with, whether we're being manipulated, because there are so many girls out here that don't have any self-esteem and that are willing to do any and everything to sleep with somebody, regardless to whether they're married, regardless to whether they're in a relationship. Cheating was not the issue in my relationship, I think. I don't really know. But that wasn't the thing that broke us up, because I never caught him cheating on me. But I mean, what we broke up about was big enough. The lack of trust and the lack of communication and the lack of honesty will kill any relationship as well. So not only do they have all those issues, but on top of all of that, he was out here sleeping with whole women. Like, the article said allegedly that he was sleeping with a woman up until the day they got married. How do you officiate someone else's wedding if that's the way that you step into your marriage? These are all things that are confusing to me, you know, and it brought tears to his eyes. And when I watched the video of him preaching about it, it brought tears to my eyes, because pain is real and mistakes are real, and people hurt when they make mistakes in relationships, and I get that. But at what point as a woman do we stop allowing a man's hurt to overshadow our hurt? At what point as a woman do you say to yourself, he's hurting because of what he did, but what he did is worse? You know, it's worse. And I'm hurting more than him. He may be hurting differently because he feels regret and remorse. I don't know if it's because he got caught, or if it's because he actually is hurting that he hurt someone that he loves. But at the end of the day, you know, you guys have to be smarter. You men out here, you really have to be smarter. Did you honestly think, Pastor Gray, that you would be sleeping with women out here and that they weren't going to bust you out? Women are emotional creatures. If they're sleeping with you and you're exalting your wife and they feel like they should be in the wife position, they will expose you. They will expose you to try to break up your relationship because they actually are confused. Some women out here really think that because a man sleeps with them, that they can take him from the household in which he feels a loyalty to. I don't know why that is. It's the person in a long-term relationship, not the vagina, not the money, not the things you're willing to do for that person, not the hoops and rings of fire. No, they have to be in love with you as a person. They have to want to live and breathe you even when they don't like you. Like, I understand that much about marriage, and I'm not married. So I do not subscribe to that whole, oh, the devil spoke to the 16-year-old in him, and I'm not going to allow the devil to do this, and I'm not going to allow the devil to do that. You, as a woman, Aventer, darling, can do nothing to stop your husband from doing what he wants to do. So if you believe the devil spoke to your 16-year-old, the 16-year-old in your husband, you better be speaking to your husband about stopping the devil from speaking to the 16, 17, 18-year-old in him again. Because the fact of the matter is, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Nothing. You can pray about it and God will cover you. He will. But your husband has to make the choice to be covered. He has to make choices. And God will allow him to go out here and sleep with another woman if that's what he chooses to do. There's no amount of praying the devil away that you can do. Your husband has to do that. And I think that's just the issue that I had with her. She just normalized it and made it. She should have just let him speak. And if she was going to say anything, I feel like she should have talked about her pain and spoke to her pain and how she healed from it, or is trying to heal from it, because I cannot believe that she's gotten over it already. The way that she's acting, it feels like she's trying to convince herself more than the rest of the world. It feels like she's trying to go for him so hard that she makes herself believe that he's in it with her. And I hope that their marriage survives. I am not an advocate for anyone's marriage to be dissolved. I'm not an advocate for anyone to be in pain or anyone to hurt. I love black love. And this was one of my favorite couples. And I think that's why I'm so disappointed. I'm so disgusted. And I'm so saddened by the way that they're allowing this to play out on the internet, and the way that she took the microphone from him and began to speak in such a irresponsible way. You have no idea how women are going to take that. And you have no idea what women out here that are not clear about who they are inside, how they are going to possibly end up staying in a bad relationship or in a bad marriage because of the way that you took the blame off of your husband for his actions and the things that he did. You can be spiritual and still be real. God gives us all choices. I believe in God down. He and I are very close. But at the end of the day, I know that I make choices. God does not move me like a puppet, and he doesn't move your husband like a puppet, obviously. And neither does the devil. So please don't put that in the minds of these young girls and these young women, especially the ones that attend your church services, to believe that they have to take things off of men in the name of fighting the devil off of their man, staying with their man through it. Yes, people can change, but they have to prove that to you. There's nothing you can do about it as a woman. And I don't like that. And the fact that he allowed that bothered me. Because as a pastor who tries to empower women as much as he did, from the sermons that I heard, he should have took the microphone from his wife and said, "I love you, baby, but I'm doing this. And I have to apologize to you. And I have to thank you for being there for me. But at the end of the day, I am not going to cheat on you again. And I'm not going to have any transgressions because I choose not to do that." Yes, it was the work of evil spirit, so to say. It was a negative act. So the devil was in there somewhere. But the devil didn't move him hand and foot like a puppet. No, he did that himself. And that woman may not necessarily be the devil. She's probably not a good woman for sleeping with a married man. Now, I know for a fact she's not. Everybody has moral issues. But the fact of the matter is, she's not a pastor. He's a pastor. So he definitely should not have slept with her. At the end of the day, I just, my takeaway from this, I guess, was that I just needed to vent because I don't like it. I don't like when women make us as women feel like we needed to be the ones in the fight. We have to fight. We have to cover our man. We have to raise him and groom him and build him up. Your man should come to you spiritual, and he should come to you grown. And even though you all have to go through hills and valleys, he should come to you knowing the difference between right and wrong. If my future husband cheats on me, I'm leaving. Now, years later, or whatever, he may be able to convince me that he's changed after work and therapy and things of that nature. It would take a lot. Because I'm of the personal belief that if you literally go and lay down in the bed with somebody else and have sex with them, I can't trust you. Period. But I pray for her, and I pray for her happiness. And, I thought it was moving and touching that he cried about it. But at the end of the day, you guys have to do better, especially you pastors. That's not okay.